It's a funny thing doing these meetings in many ways. But the idea of the meetings is not to get you coming to more and more meetings. Even though I love you all coming to more and more meetings, I like to see you all on a personal note. Maybe for some of you, I've become a part of your life. In the sense, you see me every now and again. Some of you see me every week, maybe more than once a week. Or you see me regularly. So I've become a part of your life. In the same way, each of you all are becoming a part of my life as well. And I love that. But the point of these meetings is not just so we get to see each other. It's freedom. So as much as we might have gratitude to each other in the apparent roles we are playing, in this meeting I'm playing the apparent role of a teacher, that's something quite superficial. It really is. Because at depth, there is just this presence, let's say. This depth of presence, which is the same everywhere, all times, for everyone. So the point is to be free. Free from teachers, free from teachings, free from meetings. And that's important to realize from the outset. The purpose of this is not to depend on a teacher or a teaching in the medium or long term. In the short term, we might do that, and that's fine. It can sometimes be good, but not in the long term. We want to be free from all this. We can still come along to the meeting, but it's in freedom. In essence, there is nothing special about the teacher. Meaning there's nothing special, more special about the teacher than there is than yourself. So there's something very special about the teacher, but that's just the special quality that you also have. Because everything is special. But it's no more, the teacher, the teaching, no more special. And the reason I say that is that there can be a tendency to put people on a pedestal. I was talking to someone recently, and he was saying how he put his girlfriend on a pedestal for many years. And it was great at first, but then it caused issues later on. You can see in the media how people have their own heroes. You might have your own music hero. You know, you might think a particular musician is fantastic. You can put them on a pedestal. You might have someone you look up to in some way, and you put them on a pedestal. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking up to someone and respecting someone and giving thanks to someone. But putting someone on a pedestal is dangerous. Potentially. So it's important we understand that as well. Because the idea of these meetings is not dependence. It's not so you become dependent on anything, on anyone, or any idea. Any idea, even. But freedom, because that's your nature. So I come here before you in all humility, sharing whatever it is I'm sharing, not claiming to be an authority. Because who is the authority? You are the authority, ultimately. Ultimately. Not me, not Ramana, not the Vedas. These are all guides. These are important, potentially important guides. Everything in your life potentially can be an important guide. A cat walking down the street may, in a moment in your life, be an important guide. A bird flying through the sky. Tom Das, at one of his meetings. Ramana, the Holy Spirit within that speaks in that voiceless voice to you. These are all guides. But then your essence, that presence within, is the authority. That means we listen, we come here with an open heart and with open minds to listen to the teachings, to be open to them, and have some faith in them, that they're not just completely bonkers. It can seem that sometimes. But we also come here with a critical mind, so we don't completely, we're not gullible. We don't just believe everything we're told. We can also look and see if it's true in our own experience. Now, there are different paths to this. There are different paths to liberation. There is the path of faith and devotion and love. But it culminates in direct personal experience. Or maybe you could say direct impersonal experience. Some kind of direct knowing. In Sanskrit, one word for that is aparokshanabhuti. Aparokshanabhuti is the name of a text written by Shankara, actually. He wrote a short text called Aparokshanabhuti. And that means the literal translation of that word, anabhuti, means experience. And aparoksha means, well, the simple translation is direct. It means direct experience. Aparoksha actually means unmediated. Paroksha means mediated. It means it goes through something, or indirect. And aparoksha means unmediated. It means direct. Aparoksha, anubhuti means experience. Aparoksha anubhuti is direct experience. So we have faith, we have love in our heart, and that leads us to personal direct experience. Personal meaning is not just faith and belief in something else. That faith blossoms and matures and becomes realization. Another path is the path of knowledge, path of looking, path of understanding, path of meditation is another path. Again, all of these lead to aparokshanabhuti, direct experience, direct realization. And even when we have this realization, at first it can come and go. Because the vasanas, the habitual tendencies to think of yourself as a body-mind entity in the world, to think dualistically. What does thinking dualistically mean? Thinking dualistically means you think you are a subject living in a world of objects. Subject-object duality. You think you are a me living in the world, but not me. This is the duality, the cleaving or cutting the unitary experience into two. Because the habitual tendency to think in terms of me and not me, which is a dualistic thinking, is so strong, it habitually keeps on coming back. So while I do not advocate dependency on meetings like this, I do encourage regular attendance because of the vasanas. It's very important to keep on coming to meetings for most people. It doesn't have to be this meeting, but to have contact with a teacher that you resonate with. It can be very, very helpful. Some people leave the meetings too early, as in they come to a few, they think they understand, and then they go away, don't come back for a while. And then the vasanas come back again, and before you know it, they've slipped away from the reality, let's say. That's how it might appear. And then they come back again a year later, 6 months later. So my recommendations, keep on coming until the vasanas have faded away. And every meeting is slightly different. So over the course of several meetings, the entire breadth and of the teachings, in all its different guises, superficially different guises. The teaching is only one, but it appears as many teachings. There's only one teaching. This is the teaching right now. It appears superficially many different ways. The ears and the mind will hear the whole range of teachings by coming to these meetings regularly over time. You'll hear the path of love. You will hear how important the path of love is. And then you'll hear how in another context it's not important and how it's illusion. You see? And your mind and your body will start to integrate these teachings naturally through repeated hearing. I told you I like doing this with my hands. See, I've done it again.